Kuhn is the fullback with the first and goal. Kuhn gets the ball. Pile driving his way in for the touchdown. What a great second effort.
Y'all don't really want it like that. Here comes the. Y'all don't really want it like that. I said so. I keep big bills up in my heart on the dirty like blood. So ain't got no twist in my head, but I'm still dreadful.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Fantasy Fullback Dive, brought to you by the good people at the Roto Street Journal. We're acting as your lead blocker to fantasy excellence, glory, championships, trophies, whatever it is you're getting, not getting a tattoo, all the good stuff that happens when you win your league. I'm Nat the Truth Jones. With me, as always, the Wolf of Roto Street himself. And this week, this is our Thursday night preview for the week 7. I think it's appropriate to kind of wrap it in a package that our buddy Seamus would appreciate. Bye, as Justin Timberlake would say. We got a lot of buys going on. We got a lot of high-octane guys sitting on the bench. And on top of that, we got a lot of injured guys. There's a bunch of people playing. I loved one of the things that was on the RSJ Facebook feed that said, name the worst player you're starting. I thought that was fantastic, and we got some good answers. So anyway, Wolf, how you doing?
I'm doing good. You're right. That I was wondering where you're going with the Seamus, the bye. That made perfect sense. Exactly. You know, the Cowboys, Vikings, Chargers, just a ton of high-powered Steelers too. 4 of the most high-powered attacks on bye. We are digging into the trenches. We are going deep into the ghouls and goblins to celebrate Halloween, baby. Nothing better than this. So I'm with you. It's great to see some of the creatures that are getting inserted in the lineups. We certainly have some creature recommendations we'll give you guys throughout the show. And there's tons of injuries that still have yet to be figured out. So we might be going into even deeper depths than we've realized quite yet. So, yeah, I can't wait. We got this gross-ass matchup tonight, but sometimes these gross matchups turn out to be the best of them.
Yeah.
So I can't wait. Let's get some football going, baby. Week 7. There's nothing better than these types of fantasy weeks where it's just all hell, throw as much shit against the wall. Let's see what sticks, baby.
Who's the worst guy you got in your lineup?
So I actually am pretty lucky that my bye week hell isn't awful. Like, it's my running backs are reduced to, like, Miles Sanders, and then I actually have a really big question. So, Wolfpack, those of you already with us, please feel free to chime in and let me know your thoughts. It's Miles Sanders. I'm locking him in. I think he's going to have a good one. That's my running back 1, though, so that kind of tells you where we're at. I have Javonte Williams or Alex Collins for the next spot. Collins did practice today.
Really?
We're going live. I'll probably go Collins unless anybody out there has a really strong case for Javonte tonight, because I keep sitting here waiting for that breakout week. He looks so damn good every time he's out there, but he's still sucking his timeshare. So my guess is I'm going Collins, but I'd love to hear any cases for why I should or shouldn't go there. So Wolfpack, that's my dilemma of the week. Get all your dilemmas in here because we will answer them all after about 30 to 40 minutes of a preview show. Nat, do you have any immediate reaction to that one, though?
My reaction is if Alex Collins is going to play, obviously he's your guy. I thought he was trending towards not playing, so you telling me that he practiced, that's encouraging because I have Alex Collins.
It sure is, yeah.
So, yeah, I would certainly prefer him, all things being equal.
Yeah, Callaway's tossed in my lineup as well. A decent creature, but I think he's going to have a blow-up week, and we're going to talk about him in a bit. What about you? Do you have any complete goblins or ghouls in the lineup?
Not really. My worst guy that's going this week is T. Higgins. That's
really not that bad. Although I don't love him this week.
I don't love him this week either. But if Alex Collins is playing, it might be Alex Collins. I might, True. Who would you? Let me ask you this: who would you start? T. Higgins, Eli Mitchell, or Alex Collins?
Probably Collins if he's playing. But yeah, okay. That's Monday night, so that's also a tough thing. We can wait that one out till Sunday. My decision comes down to tonight, though. Javonte's playing, and I'm fucking all over the place. Wolfpack, we're going to dive into all these guys, all these injuries, and all the ghouls and goblins that you're sifting through. If you don't mind, give us that like.
Thumbs up.
Let us get out to more people. Share this out, retweet it. Let us know how we can help you out and keep helping us out. We wouldn't keep begging for it if it didn't really make a difference. So those likes, all those thumbs up, they really do help us out. So thank you again, guys. Now, we got some Thursday night. We got actually two separate news blogs because Thursday night's pretty loaded with news right now. Why don't we dive right in?
All right, let's get into it. All right, Thursday Night Football news. We're going to start with the obvious one. There's been a Case Keenum sighting. Case Keenum's going to be starting for the Browns in place of the injured Baker Mayfield, Week 7 against the Broncos. What do we think? You see any? You got any fantasy love for Case Keenum?
Oh, no, I'm not playing Case Keenum anywhere ever. Actually, in a 2 QB league, I have to stream him in one, and it's pretty hideous. The only way I look at this is I don't think it's a market downgrade for their weapons. Baker's been playing injured. Yeah. He hasn't looked like himself. Dare I say it might even be an upgrade? Like I could see, we saw when Keenum came in, Donovan Peoples-Jones had a couple big plays. Odell, I think, had half of his yardage with Keenum towards the end of the game, if I'm not mistaken. This could be more intriguing than anything. So I'm excited to see it. It is a tough Broncos defense. If it was a lesser matchup, I might feel even good, but he has familiarity with Shermer's scheme. He had a monstrous year just a few years ago with the Vikings under Shermer. I don't actually hate this at all. I really don't.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I don't hate it either, actually. I mean, I don't
on
think
the
it's
other
a
side,
huge downgrade. Right.
Yeah, no, it's not that big. I don't think it's a big downgrade. If anything, it might even be an upgrade, which is kind of crazy. On the other side of the ball, Bridgewater is going to be playing and heading into the game. You're firing up your usual guys. Sutton locked in. They're giving up the 4th most points to wide receivers. The Browns are. You're locking in him. You're locking in Tim Patrick, most likely in this type of depth-ridden hell that we're in right now. Good spot for them, especially because Jerry Jeudy is still not back, but expected to be activated next week against Washington. If he is still out there at any waiver wires, remember, this guy had 8 catches on like 9 targets in a half before he got hurt. He was looking like the next great breakout star. So if he's somehow out there, go and scoop him up immediately because we're going to get him against Washington next week, right into my lineups if that's the case. Absolutely.
I like also in the headline about Bridgewater that we have Jeremy Fowler confirms Teddy Bridgewater is quote unquote fine.
Fine.
Right. In other words, it's like, yeah, he's fine. It's like, is he fine? Are you being sarcastic? What? Anyway, Teddy's fine.
He's fine.
The Broncos
that's how you feel about him in fantasy too, right? Like, fine.
Right. So we know they're not activating Jeudy from injured reserve for the Thursday game, but like you said, he's obviously a scoop up immediately if you could get him. Speaking of guys on injured reserve, or not on injured reserve anymore, the Browns activated Jarvis Landry from injured reserve, and this is going to be his first game action since week 2, right?
It sure is. And I was going to say, get him locked in the lineups, like not locked in. He's not a must play. I think I have him right around wide receiver 40 or so, if I'm not mistaken. But now Odell Beckham, just as we're getting on air, he was reportedly facing an uphill battle to play. He's going to be active tonight. So that makes this a bit more of a mess. Because Jarvis Landry had a great stretch last year where he averaged nearly 7 targets a game, 13.1 fantasy points per game in his 10 starts without Beckham. But now Beckham's playing, and it could be one of those situations that just gets dicey, gets ugly. So let us know. Do you have an Odell question? Do you have a Landry question? I'm now trending towards playing neither now that both are active. 1 or 2 might have a big day. If I had to go one or the other, I honestly think I might go Landry because Beckham's showing nothing so far since returning. But ultimately, my leaning is to sit them both. And certainly, you can no longer trust Donovan Peoples-Jones and certain Hail Marys that we're looking forward to throwing in there. No longer the case with both of these guys active. I'm adjusting my rankings as we speak. If I seem a little distracted, that is why.
All right. We don't usually talk much about tackles on this show, as in, I don't mean tackling players. I mean like the actual offensive tackles. But it has been reported that left tackle for the Browns, Jedrick Willis, is expected to play in Week 7 against the Broncos. Also, the right tackle, Jack Conklin, is not expected to play against the Broncos. Obviously, this is significant for the running game. It's significant for quarterback protection. This is like valuable trickle-down fantasy information.
Especially when Von Miller's on the other side of Jack Conklin. That could make...
And he's been making some noise before this game, right? Like, hasn't he been saying, like, he's going to... kill somebody or something?
Oh, yeah. I certainly wouldn't be wanting to line up against Von Miller ready to kill me because he could just do everything he wanted at that point. So, yeah, he's going to destroy them. I think Denver's a good D stream. I honestly think the Browns are a pretty good defensive stream myself. Maybe I'm talking into existence because, Nat, this is one of those things where I don't really have a good reason to play them, but I'm playing them in 5 of 6 leagues. Like, I had no one else. They were somehow out there in every league. It felt like destiny. I'm like, these guys are going to get a strip sack, fumble for a touchdown. That's what I'm praying on. I'm hoping it happens. But I do think this is the type of game. We just saw Teddy Bridgewater get sacked 5 times last week against the Raiders, who don't have all that good of a pass rush. The Browns, they have some faults in the secondary, no doubt about it. But they can get after. We saw them get 9 sacks against Justin Fields. Wouldn't be surprised to see a 4 to 5 sack day. If one of those turned into a touchdown, you're getting yourself a great Thursday night football stream. So I'm going all in at home. Bad weather. Let's fire them up, folks. Let me know what you're thinking at D. What do you think? Am I psycho?
No, I think this. I'd smash the under if I was betting this. I really do think that both these defenses are smart plays. I think you're thinking clearly there. I just want to mention a comment that just came up from our boy Mitch Chavez. He says, the men, the myths, the legends, CJ and the Wolf.
What? Mitch, you know better than that. I mean, you see hair. That's all you need to know. It's not CJ. That's our Sunday.
I just wanted to bring that up on the air because I've been mistaken for Gronk before, but I've never been mistaken for CJ. All right.
No, I wouldn't mistake you for that, but wow. Big mistake, Mitch.
All right. Do you want to talk Deshaun Watson at all, or do you want to go right into the injuries?
I mean, we certainly could. What are your thoughts on it real quick? I covered him last night. What are your thoughts on him?
I'll keep it real quick. I picked him up just reflexively because anytime I see a story when somebody is like maybe becoming available, I just reflexively pick them up. And, I've done it before. And I did it when Le'Veon Bell went to the Ravens, like in week 1. I just randomly picked him up, dropped him probably like 4 days after that. I picked him up. I would love to flip him immediately. I see the potential in the guy. I have a quarterback that I like, so I don't see him becoming my quarterback. But I would flip him for almost anything. Can I tell you the trade that I put out there for somebody that got rejected?
Let's hear it.
I put out Deshaun Watson and Ryan Suckup for Justin Tucker. And I got turned down.
Andrew got rejected.
Yeah.
I love the effort. A for effort.
I mean, I figure, I'd upgrade my team by 3 points a game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I tried,
honestly, if I'm him, I would consider that. See, my play
and his quarterback situation sucks. He has Russell Wilson. He's on the IR. Like he's picking guys up off waivers.
It really isn't like an asshole insulting offer on your end.
No. He didn't take it that way. He thought it was interesting. He just said no.
It's certainly intriguing. What I'm doing everywhere, and I don't own like Tucker or anything of that nature. I've been cutting my kicker in every league and just stashing him to see, do we get any news before Sunday? Like if he gets traded by Sunday, then we know. I might cut him and send him to the waiver wire again for next week. I do kind of want to hold out until November 2nd when the trade deadline passes and then officially cut bait because he's clearly not going to be playing with Houston this year. I think it's worth it, though. I mean, the Panthers reportedly made some calls. I would love that situation. Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, like Terrace Marshall. That would be probably the jackpot unless Pittsburgh suddenly just dropped a bombshell and got rid of Big Ben. I don't expect that. But it sounds like Miami is the realistic landing spot. They are apparently in heavy negotiations, according to John McClain. But then there's like, nope, it's a smokescreen. It's all coming out from Houston. They're trying to drive up interest. Washington has no interest in Tua, who was supposed to be the three-way trade partner. I don't think anything happens. My guess is it doesn't with no legal clarity at this point. I still think the upside of the league leading passer last year is worth stashing for right now because it's a very easy cut. And I get it. We're in bye week hell. So if you can't, you can't. Okay, I get it. But most of us at least drop your kicker for now and let's see what happens, huh? That's what my opinion is on Deshaun.
All right. Those are our takes on Deshaun Watson. We're pretty much in agreement. All right. We're going to go back and forth fast on these injuries, okay? We're going to start with the quarterback realm. Jimmy G, he had his calf injury. He's practicing again Thursday. He's trending towards returning for Sunday night's game against the Colts. Lance still sidelined, meanwhile. So, I mean, it seems like, we thought Jimmy G is going to go for a while, hand it off to Lance. At some point, I know that was kind of our narrative at the beginning of the year. It seems like it's still Jimmy G's team until further notice, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It hurts Trey Lance's season-long outlook. I still think by the playoffs, you're going to have this guy potentially be a league winner. So if you can hold out, go for it. But at this point, this kind of was on here to reiterate, you can cut Trey Lance if you need the space. And in bye week hell, a lot of us do need the space. I hate to admit it because he is my league winner, and I still could see it happening. But a lot of us have shallow benches, and we need to send him packing. After him, we got quarterback Taysom Hill remaining sideline on Thursday. This doesn't matter. Of course, you're not considering Taysom Hill in fantasy leagues, but Jameis Winston raises his floor a little bit. Maybe he gets another touchdown that he wouldn't have had because Taysom Hill comes into the goal line and runs it in. A guy that I'm going to talk about more in Hail Marys, so we'll pass on forward. But yeah, decent just for Jameis. That's the only reason that note's on there.
Moving on to the running backs, Antonio Gibson dealing with a shin injury, which sounds really unpleasant. Returned to practice on Thursday. Obviously, we've been high on McKissick's, and his stock has got to be kind of going through the roof as a result of these Gibson injuries. Obviously, he brings a big pass catching element also, but it is not clear whether he's going to see a full workload. I mean, Gibson, if he comes back, what do you think?
There was a lot of speculation he was going to go to the IR based on the fact that he was in and out of the game, only mustered 44 yards and 10 touches last time, and here he is practicing. A lot of people are like calling for the Washington football team's head saying this is malpractice. This is awful stuff. So I don't know. It's risky to put him in there, but if he's in, the Green Bay Packers are one of the bottom teams in terms of rushing DVOA, very generous against the run, just like they were last year. I'd probably have Gibson in my lineup should he be playing, but certainly a must track given that he was expected to lay on the IR by a lot of people just a couple days ago. Another running back, we're going through all our running backs here. Latavius Murray remains sidelined. If you're in desperation mode, maybe you toss in Freeman, maybe you toss in Le'Veon Bell. My favorite of the three, though, would be Tyson Williams. He still has always consistently, even with Latavius taking over the backfield, has looked like the best back, in my opinion. I just don't know if I want any of the three. All three scored touchdowns last week. All three were viable last week. There's going to be plenty of weeks when Lamar Jackson has 4 touchdowns and none of them score. And that's what I'm expecting more weeks than not. I don't want to really deal with this backfield. Just putting it out there.
Throwing on the pile of people, not buys, but buys included with injuries that are kind of high-profile guys. Saquon Barkley, he's got a low ankle sprain, and he remains sidelined for Thursday's practice as well. We're going to see some real dregs in some of these lineups if some of these guys can't play.
Including Devontae Booker, who has scored in 11 times when he's seen 12 or more carries. He did not last week. It did come out. He didn't end up getting in there, but still was elite in usage. I expect that to turn around. Damian Williams did not practice. The earliest he can come off because he was unvaccinated, which kind of surprised me given he didn't play all last year, given the COVID situation. You'd think a guy like that would get whatever. This is not a political podcast. Either way, I expect him. The earliest he could come off is Saturday now because he's unvaccinated. So maybe he gets activated. Either way, I'm probably avoiding this backfield. I will definitely be avoiding it if he is activated. If not, maybe you go to Khalil Herbert because you're desperate. But against Tampa Bay, I really don't want to play any of these guys.
All right, let's move on to wide receivers. The fastest man in the NFL, allegedly, Tyreek Hill, quad injury. He remains sidelined for Thursday's practice. Not sure how serious this is or not. Have you heard anything beyond that?
No, he was sidelined all last week and then still played and did pretty damn good. Touchdown, 8 catches, 80-something yards, 76 receiving line, never mind. So pretty damn close. But yeah, solid guy. No worries there. I imagine he's playing and he's in your lineup. Obviously, just keep tracking that throughout the week just in case they sit him in the game. 57.5 over-under on that game. Points. Tyreek Hill's going to put up. They're giving up the most points to wide receivers. Tyreek Hill, you know he's in your lineup. There's no doubt about that. Antonio Brown did not practice Wednesday or Thursday now. That's getting to be a concern. It would obviously
I'm concerned.
Be an ankle injury. Certainly you should be concerned. Ankle injury against Chicago, one of the tougher matchups, but I don't think there's a tough matchup. The Bucs are going to move the ball and throw touchdowns at will against everybody. This would just obviously clear up some volume, clear up some clarity. That's a great line for Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Definitely a better situation should Antonio Brown be out for those guys. If Antonio Brown plays, he's actually my number 1 receiver of the Bucs.
Yeah, I saw where you've got him. You got him like 10, 11, 12 in a row, which I actually thought was a smart way to rank them. Not even necessarily the order, although I kind of think healthy AB, I might lean towards him as their top guy. But I like how you just had them all in a row because I'm not really sure how you could distinguish them otherwise.
Exactly. And he has the highest target share, most fantasy points per game, and most yardage in the 3 games they've all played together, which he's played the lowest snaps of the 3, and yet he dominates. He just runs the routes Brady loves the most.
I hate it. I'm an owner of his. I really hope he plays, and I hate watching the fact that he's not on the field like 40% of the time. It drives me crazy. And yet his numbers are as good or better than the other guys, which
insane.
So it's like great.
Insane.
I might argue they should put him on the field a little more.
Yeah.
All right. T.Y. Hilton, quad injury. Speaking of a guy that was awesome 6 years ago, did not participate in Thursday's practice. He said he's 50-50 to play in week 7 against the Niners.
He did have more targets than Pittman, though, last week, more yards. Came back with 80 yards, looked like T.Y. of old. It would be nice to have him out there, but at this point, how could you trust him? Still worth a stash, in my opinion. Only 35% rostered the last time I checked. I want to have him on my team, just on the bench at least, to see what happens. Just still looked as explosive as ever. Giants receivers, we got Galladay still sidelined. We got Tony still sidelined. We got Shepard limited. We got Evan Ingram not practicing. They might be without an entire starting lineup. Shepard has a hamstring injury, which flared up. This could get ugly, folks. This could get real ugly. Should Shepard play? He's led the team in targets every game. He's made it all the way through. He saw 14 last week. I expect him to be right back into that 10 to 15 target range and be a very viable wide receiver too. If he's playing, he might not be, though. Who knows who's going to be out there for the Giants this week?
Is that Des Bryant's music?
Seriously, get him on in there.
Oh, no, wait, it's Terrell Owens.
Yeah.
All right. Traquan Smith dealing with hamstring issues, participated in Saints practice on Thursday, but Deontay Harris did not. All right.
Yeah. It's just one of that gross situations, one of the lowest volume passing attacks, but we did see an uptick these last few weeks. My answer to all this is get Marquez Callaway. They're all out there. Go for Callaway. I think this is going to be the week he really blows up for you and has a monstrous Monday Night Football performance. Julio Jones returned to Titans practice. This is kind of a shock. It seemed like he was going to be out this week. Does that lower A.J. Brown? Does this just make this more of a shootout game? We will find out. It's still, they said 50-50 or so to play, so it's not like he's in the green yet, but he is practicing. That's encouraging news if you have him. And to be honest, facing the Chiefs, giving up the most points, one of the most generous teams to wide receivers. And again, I want to keep emphasizing 57.5 over-under, which I think might be even too low this week. That game could go crazy. You probably have Julio in your lineup if he's in there.
Remember when we used to think this guy was good? Devontae Parker returned to practice on Wednesday. Shoulder, hamstring issues. He's back. He's missed the last 2 games. He's not guaranteed to suit up. Does this move the needle for you at all?
No, not really. I mean, he's facing Atlanta, so that's in bye week hell. Anybody facing Atlanta,
that's true. That's true.
You might actually have to put in there. I love Jalen Waddle. This could interfere with his targets just a little bit, but wanted to throw that out there. And 2 guys that are not in there, Sammy Watkins or Curtis Samuel, did not practice. Both are unlikely to play. The only mention of note there is Rashad Bateman did see the most targets among receivers last week after only running 66% of the routes. He might become an every down player and somewhat viable against Cincinnati this week. Let's get to tight ends. Hit those guys for us. There's only one team we got to cover.
All right. O.J. Howard returned to practice on Thursday. Rob Gronkowski did not practice on Thursday.
Bam. And I think O.J. Howard, we'll save it for the tight end higher, lower Hail Mary.
He's not a terrible play.
I think he's a viable streamer, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But as we get into higher, lower Hail Mary, guys, that thumbs up. We're going to get there. We see 53 questions. Don't worry. We're going to blaze.
We'll get it. We're actually moving pretty fast right now, so we'll get to all of them.
A great clip, as we always do. So we'll get to all those questions. Keep them coming in. We've had Thursdays where we've gotten 400 questions. So 53.
And we got through them all, too.
We got through them all. So get them on in. Get that thumbs up in. Share it out. Retweet, share, all that good stuff. Let's go. Thursday Night Football. Horrible game. It doesn't matter. We're drinking, folks. We're having a good time.
We are drinking. The Wolf texted me like an hour before the pod and said, I think I'm getting drunk tonight. And I didn't know if that meant before the pod, after the pod, or during the pod, or if it was like his kind of passive way of saying, I'm too drunk to do the pod.
Oh, no, not that.
All right. I was happy. I didn't care about any of the other ones. I just wanted to make sure we were doing the pod.
The only answer for that one, Matt, is D. All of the above. Before, during, after. All of it. Let's go.
All right. Sounds good. I mean, I'll tell you what makes a crappy Thursday Night Football game more fun. Getting tanked. All right.
That's where we're at.
Let's go. Quarterbacks. Guy you're higher on. Tua. Going up against the Falcons. Obviously, that matchup is the crux of this ranking. You got him as your QB8. I want to talk about your higher and lower kind of as a package. Can we do that? You got your QB. He's your QB8, 5 higher than the experts, and he's less than 50% rostered. Tannehill's your lower guy going against KC, another terrible pass offense, but you got him at 13. So the experts like Tannehill at 8, Tua at 13. You got him exactly flipped. Also, you're lower on Daniel Jones. I don't really care as much about that one. Talk to me about why you think you and the experts feel opposite about Tua and Tannehill.
Well, Tua, for one, comes back from injury. First game back, 47 pass attempts. 37 of them came when it was a neutral or they were a head situation. So it wasn't like they were playing behind all game. They were just letting this guy rope the ball. He threw for 329 yards, 2 touchdowns, 22 fantasy points with the QB10 in his first action back. Yes, it was against Jacksonville, but guess what?
Atlanta. They were in London, though. That's like playing the 86 Celtics in the Garden.
Exactly. Like the hardest matchup you could possibly ask for. The Jags in London. Nothing more ferocious than them. But now you get Atlanta, even more generous than the Jags. They're at home here, and they apparently have Tua on the trade block. I imagine those 47 pass attempts were partly showing what does this guy have? Let's drum up his trade value. And against Atlanta, what better matchup than continuing to let this guy just uncork it? I think he's going to have a field day against Atlanta. I love Matt Ryan, too, who's out there in a lot of waiver wires. That's a game, I think the over-under is like 47.5. They are crap defenses with sneaky, actually decent offenses. In particular, Atlanta has been starting to take off a bit. I really like Tua in this matchup in a showcase for his trade value. I think they're going to let him rope the ball around, and he's going to have great success doing it. Now, Tannehill, it's really just about production at this point. He's had great matchups throughout the year, and he's had only one game where he's been above the QB 17. QB 24, 24, QB 8, 23 points. Every other game, 17, 22, 19. He's been a 15 or under in all but 2 games this year. And Kansas City, a great spot. We keep emphasizing that over-under. And now that Julio's back, maybe I'll bump him up a spot or two, but I still think Kansas City, the worst team in terms of yards per carry allowed, in terms of DVOA against the run. What are you going to do against this team? You're going to feed the motherfucking beast that has 3 touchdowns in like 4 straight games that just cannot be stopped.
That guy,
Henry.
I mean, can we just real quick in the quarterback lower section talk a little bit about Derrick Henry? I mean, good freaking God. Like what a monster that guy. I mean, I know this is not a hot take exactly, but geez, what are you supposed to do with that guy? I think there's no bigger hit to Tannehill's value than Derrick Henry.
100%. And it's not a hot take. Nat, in the preseason, and I got shit on a lot for this, and I can't believe it. It was a hot take to be like Derrick Henry should be in your top 2. People were like, he's actually the first rounder most likely to bust because he doesn't catch passes. What fucking universe is the best running back that we've seen in a generation? Who cares if he catches passes? Never mind the fact that he's actually catching passes this year, which is just a whole new ceiling unlocked. Even if he wasn't catching passes, I saw this stat the other day. Even if you eliminate all these catches, he would still be the running back 1 in PPR leagues. It doesn't matter. It only helps him, no less. Obviously, no doubt about it. But still, the guy is a complete fucking monster. I know we're on QBs. I don't even know how.
I know. I'm sorry, but I mean,
but I could talk about him all day. I couldn't believe the amount of crap I got. Like, you are so wrong to have this guy in number 2 when he doesn't catch passes. You don't consider all fast. Shut the fuck up. Like, come on. It's Derrick Henry, folks, and that's all you need to know. But yes, Tannehill. And all this is to say is
right, which is just an extremely long-winded way of saying Tannehill's not going to do as well as the experts say.
Big hit to him. And Daniel Jones at home is actually way worse than on the road. Shocking. I don't get it. I don't know why, but he is horrible at the Meadowlands. Now, as we just talked about, all his receivers are depleted. Maybe even Shepard's going to be out. That's not a great matchup for Carolina, who's going to be welcoming in Stephon Gilmore, one of the hardest matchups before Gilmore arrived for QBs. I can't imagine it gets easier when one of the best cornerback arrives on the scene. This is going to be one of those classics, just like last week was against the Rams. We're going to see 3 picks, 2 fumbles, just a gross Daniel Jones day. So I can't believe he's ranked top 15. I get he has some Konami upside, like all that stuff. But even in 2 QB leagues, I would hope I have a better option than Daniel Jones this week.
All right. I was going to say we're going to get more efficient now because that took forever. But, I see you actually have 4 guys in your Hail Mary list, so maybe not.
I'll go through them real fast.
You have Tua, then Jameis, both above 30% rostered, so maybe they don't count as Hail Mary. So Heineke again. If that's cheating, then Jimmy G.
Yeah. So again, I just want to emphasize, you want to go to Tua, you want to go to Jameis first. Jameis coming off the most neutral script passes he's had all year, 30 pass attempts. They're finally letting the guy uncork it. It seems like Sean Payton's realized if I have Jameis, I just have to let the guy take training wheels off and let him go. And again, since Seattle, who's given up the 10th most points to QBs, a good spot for him to let it go on Monday Night Football. But as I said, both are 30% roster. That might be a cheat for a Hail Mary. So I go this guy 3 straight weeks. So that feels like cheating again. Heineke, he hasn't delivered. Last week was a complete bust I was locked in on him. My QB 10 didn't do the thing. But before 2 weeks ago, 20 or more points in 3 straight games, was a QB 12 for 3 straight games. Has he been figured out? Is he toast? Maybe. But if I'm desperate, well, nobody else is turning to him. He got cut everywhere. He's rostered, I think, 15% leagues or less right now. He gets a Green Bay defense that has no Jair Alexander, that's been getting quite routinely just destroyed through the air right now. I think Heineke, they're going to need points. They're going to be chasing points. A great play. And if that's cheating because I've given him, 2 of the last 3 weeks, I've had Heineke, my guy. He worked out once, didn't work out the other time. I really don't hate Jimmy G with no Trey Lance.
I don't either.
I mean, they're going to rely on Eli Mitchell in the backfield. I'm going to talk about why I'm lower on him in a second. I don't buy into the Eli Mitchell machine. I'm going Jimmy G. I think Deebo Samuel. We've seen this defense get destroyed deep. I think Deebo. I think Ayuk. I think those guys are going to have field days, and Jimmy G is going to have one of those. He's good for like 2 or 3 of these a year, where he has like 300 yards, 3 or 4 touchdowns, and they just bomb. Fresh out of the bye week, I think Shanahan's going to work some magic, and I think Jimmy G is a very viable streamer this week.
Must watch. Is Sam Darnold truly toast, or can he be trusted in the right matchups? Also, will Justin Fields offer any 2021 viability? I'm skeptical on that one, I got to say, but I am interested. I know this is a must watch. And is Sam Darnold truly toast? I don't think he's that great.
He's had 3 complete dud weeks after starting as a stud. And then you look at the matchups and you're like, yeah.
It was rushing touchdowns though,
Rushing touchdowns and easy toast defenses. But the Giants, the 5th most points, I think, to quarterbacks. I think Darnold, if he can't do it against the Giants, he's not doing it against anybody the rest of the year. He may be figured out. He may be done. I think this is either the get right spot and you can kind of get a little juice back, or it's just cut bait and never look back at this point. So that's why I want to watch him in this Panthers offense and see what he does. And then Justin Fields against Tampa Bay. You're going to need points. You're going to need to run for your life. Is he going to do it? He's off a season high 13 fantasy points last week. First time in double digits. Welcome to the club, Justin Fields. Could he get to 20 though this week? Of all the weeks, this is the type of matchup. The 4th most points to quarterbacks. You just need to rope it against Tampa Bay. You need to run all over the place. Could he do it? Maybe, but I don't know. I'm not buying it. That's why I'd rather have Jimmy G in my lineup than Justin Fields. I'd like to see it. I'd like to watch, but yeah, I'm not into it.
Agree. All right, we're going to get into running backs, and the first guy we're going to talk about is actually somebody that we're getting a decent amount of questions about, probably because he's playing here in a few minutes. People want to know what to do. Kind of some similar Alex Collins vibes from a week or two ago. A guy you're higher on, D'Ernest. I don't know if it's D'Ernest or D'Ernest Johnson. I'm not quite sure the pronunciation, but you know who I'm talking about. He's going against Denver. He's the RB14, 8 spots higher than the experts. You also like J.D. McKissick, who I referenced earlier in the injury report. He's at the Packers. You got him as your RB21, 4 spots above the experts. Great examples of some guys that are higher than you would expect, whether it was by you or the expert consensus, because of all these guys that are out.
Exactly. Let's start with D'Ernest Johnson. I think that's how you pronounce it. Mr. Ernest, right. We'll call him the Ernest man himself. Why to like him? Why am I +8 on the ECR? Well, one, the Browns ground pie. First in attempts, 194. First in rush yards on the year. They already have 1,011 rush yards on the year. They're first in yards per carry, 5.2. And they're first in team TDs on the ground, 12. Derrick Henry's pretty damn close with 10 himself, but he's the only one that scored touchdowns on the ground. So the Browns are first in every single meaningful rushing category. Yes, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, of course, help buoy those. They're 2 incredible, the best backfield duo you could ask for in the NFL. Still, I think a huge part of that is the line. The zone blocking scheme is one of the best. And the fact that they just call so much run game volume throughout the game. They're averaging 32 attempts, 168 yards, and 2 TDs on the ground every game. I'm not saying that all that's going to go to D'Ernest or that they're even going to come close to those averages when they're missing Jack Conklin, when they have Case Keenum at quarterback. There are definitely concerns in that sense. Never mind the fact it's a tough Broncos defense. But I think D'Ernest Johnson's not that bad. Whenever he's gotten the rushing attempts, 33 carries in his career, he had 166 yards on those, over 5 yards a pop. He's caught 10 of his 12 targets for 92 yards, 9.2 yards a pop. Everybody thinks, he's the clear-cut only rushing down guy, right? He is the USF, University of South Florida's all-time leader in all-purpose yards, running back receptions, running back receiving yards. The guy can catch the ball, folks. And so, yes, this is definitely a one-week plug-in, but everyone assumes that Felton, who I actually am at Hail Mary, we're going to talk about himself in a little bit. I like Felton, too. But everyone's like, it's automatically Felton, the receiving back, right? He's going to automatically be the Kareem Hunt. Well, Johnson can catch the ball. There's a world where he's the lead back this week and then plays the Hunt role in future weeks. So I love rostering him, and I certainly am going to roll him out this week. And bye week, hell, never mind that. The guy's nickname, the Junkyard Dog, for his penchant of racking up tough, ugly yardage. You can have the Junkyard Dog. Come on. You're playing the Junkyard Dog. Let's go.
JYD. All right.
JYD, baby.
Let's talk lower. Eli Mitchell. I think it's just you just kind of don't believe the Eli Mitchell hype. Going against the Colts, RB22, 8 spots below the experts.
Matt, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you up, but I did want to touch because we do make this a podcast, and this wouldn't matter. This D'Ernest Johnson rant doesn't matter. So I'll either look like an idiot or I'll look great on the podcast tomorrow. We'll find out. You mentioned J.D. McKissick, and I do want to talk about him for everybody playing on Sunday, listening to the podcast right now. It's been very boom or bust. He's either had 1 point or he's had 15 or more. But the good news about that boom or bust nature is the booms have come in games where it's clear they're going to be behind and they're clear they're going to need to throw to the running back. Well, guess what? They're facing Green Bay. Green Bay is going to destroy this team, giving up the most points to everything right now. Most points to total teams, most points to quarterbacks, receivers. They're going to destroy them, and they're going to be in comeback mode. And regardless of Antonio Gibson's injury, should he be out, skyrocketed even further. But even if he plays, this is a McKissick game in all intents and purposes. He had 16 touches last week, 8 carries, 8 catches. I think this is another 12 to 20, whatever that range ends up being, depends on Gibson's injury. But either way, you get 12 plus touches for McKissick. That's happened on all these bad scripts for that. The defense rather. He eats every single time. I think you can pencil him right in for 14 to 15 points at least, given this matchup, because they're not a good pass defense. They're not a good run defense, and they're going to be putting up points, Green Bay is, against this team. So McKissick, a great stream this week if you have him.
All right, we're going to get to lower. We definitely need to make sure we get through these because we do have a lot of Dearness
70
Johnson
questions. I see it.
Well, a lot of them are about him. So I want to make sure anybody that's watching tonight gets those answered in plenty of time. All right, got your lower on Eli Mitchell going against the Colts, RB 22, 8 spots below the experts. Also, Chase Edmonds, you don't like, similar amount. You got him as RB 23, 8 spots below the experts also. I can't believe the experts had those guys 14 and 15 respectively, by the way.
It makes no sense to me. Eli Mitchell, he had that one great week against Detroit. Well, guess what? Detroit gives up the most points to running backs. Other than that one 16-point affair, he's had 6 and 7 points. Even against Arizona, where he saw 80% of the workload and snaps, he only had 7 points. Now he gets Indy, who's given up the third fewest points to running back, one of the best linebacking crews in the entire NFL. No thanks. I get so many questions about playing Eli Mitchell. Not for me this week, folks. Tough matchup. Hasn't gotten it done other than the easiest possible matchup. I'm all the way out on him. And then in terms of the other running back that I'm lower on was Chase Edmonds. The guy hasn't done anything in 2 straight weeks because James Conner's kind of taken over this backfield, certainly when the positive game script's there. And what do you expect against Houston? You think they're going to need to throw to their running backs against Houston? No, they're going to be bleeding clock all day. We've seen 3 and 7 points from Chase Edmonds in half PPR leagues the last 2 weeks. The running back 56 and 37. This is the James Conner week. And I'm facing him. So I cut him and I'm facing him. There is no way that James Conner puts anything less up than 2 touchdowns. And Chase Edmonds does absolutely nothing just because of that old bad blood. But he hasn't been anything special these last 2 weeks, 6 and 4 carries. And a week when he might see 4 to 8 more this week, but he won't see any catches because they're not going to need to throw to running backs against Houston. No need.
Hail Mary, Demetric Felton going against Denver tonight. RB 29, 13 above the experts, 21% rostered. Also, you like Ramondre Stevenson. I'm still waiting on this one to blow up. Going against the Jets, not a bad time to do it. He's only 19% rostered.
Exactly. Felton, we'll start with him. Again, I obviously prefer Dearness Johnson. He's the lead back. I think he sees the most touches. Felton's pretty damn electric, though. He had like a 60-yard receiving touchdown in just week 2. He played a lot of slot snaps. He's kind of that convert wide receiver running back who led the entire Pac-12 in all-purpose yardage just a couple seasons ago under Chip Kelly. Very versatile, 165 a game, 2,258 all-purpose yards that year. Speed, not that great, 4.59 for his lackluster size, but a great receiver. One of those dynamite type of guys that's a big play waiting to happen on a team that kind of needs it, certainly out of the backfield. Wouldn't be surprised to see him rack up 6 catches or so tonight. So PPR viable, in my opinion. And then Ramondre Stevenson. Last week saw 14% target share. This is like a big James White style role. That's the highest Patriots running back target share other than James White 3 weeks ago when he was actually healthy. So if he's now taking over that Bolden role, you're looking at 4 to 6 catches. And then a great bet as this big body, there comes the beer, this great bet as a big body to plow into the end zone. He scored last week, gets the Jets. Detroit's giving up the most points to running backs. The Jets are not far behind at number 2. So, yeah, I think Harris has a big day. I think Ramondre, though, especially if there's some mop-up duty to have and certainly some receiving work throughout the game, a very viable stream this week into bye week hell.
All right, real quick, some must-watches. Antonio Gibson's health. We already talked about that. Cordero Patterson, backfield takeover. I kind of feel like it's already happened. And the Ravens distribution, if Latavius Murray is out. That one does interest me.
Yeah, Patterson, the backfield takeover seems like it's happened because he's so much better than Mike Davis. I mean, he's the running back, 4 in fantasy right now?
Yeah, it's
insane.
I got him for 18 waiver dollars.
Oh, my God. Unbelievable. I cut him for Christian Kirk in week 1, and I still want to just throw myself out the window.
Oh, God. That's awful.
I know. I thought I was so savvy and smart picking him up and then drop. I have him in 4 or 5 leagues. It's more my main league that I just dropped him in like an idiot. That's how it always goes, doesn't it? But Cordero, it seems like it is his backfield because of how damn highlight reel plays every single week he is. But last week was the first time, or 2 weeks ago, rather, the first time he actually out-carried Davis, 14 to 13. Does that continue this week to even further? Does he see 20 carries? I just want to see this role continue to climb because why the hell not? He is one of the best playmakers in the NFL, and he's been killing it.
Remember, we said it. We said his floor is like 15 points PPR. Bro.
It's unbelievable. Lock him in every meaningful way. Ravens distribution, if Murray's out, though, is just does Tyson Williams more? It's really more about him. Can he take this backfield back over? Because he looked so damn good those first 2 weeks, had double-digit fantasy points, was like, oh my God, Tyson Williams, the best pick of the year. And then he disappeared for 3 straight weeks. Could Murray be out and let Tyson Williams open the door for this guy to reclaim the backfield? I'll stash him and find out, no doubt about it.
We got 35, 36 minutes until kickoff. Plenty of time to get to everything.
Plenty of time. We'll do 3 minutes for tight ends, 5 minutes for receivers.
No, we're good.
Hitting everything. We always get through them all, folks. 75 questions. I can't fucking wait to see what you guys got for us. Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
All right.
We will hit them all. Let's go.
Wide receivers. Speaking of a guy that I thought I was savvy and picked up off waivers and then dropped a couple weeks later, Marquez Callaway going against the Seahawks. Wide receiver 28, 8 spots above the experts. You also like Brandon Ayuk, another guy I loved at the beginning of the year that it has been a little disappointing. Going against the Colts, wide receiver 35, 5 spots higher than the experts.
Yeah, I just think Callaway, you remember that like Monday night
preseason
game where he lit it up? Well, we get Monday night game again. And yeah, I know that seems stupid to like put our money on a preseason Monday night translation.
After that, when that game happened, I got a text from you as he caught his second touchdown that said, and you said, please tell me that you have picked up Marquez Callaway.
Yeah.
and I immediately picked him up and was real smug about it for about 2 weeks.
And I feel that way again this week. He had 2 touchdowns last week. Yes, one of them was a Hail Mary, second half, blah, blah. That's because they're finally letting Jameis uncork it. They're finally letting Callaway do his thing. And Callaway finally has easy matchups. He started with 3 of the hardest possible matchups for cornerbacks. Then he got an easy one finally, and he lit it up. And now he has Seattle giving up the 6th most points to receivers, Tampa Bay coming up in a week. I think you're going to get a nice stretch of Callaway being that receiver you need in your lineup. He's only 30% rostered right now. I'm throwing him in everywhere I possibly can because a Hail Mary on Monday night. What's better than that? I certainly think he's going to get deep for at least 1 score, even with Traquan back. Great. Traquan back, take some defensive attention. I really think Marquez is going to have a day against this bad Seattle defense. And I love Brandon Ayuk. We talked about Indy and their struggles defending deep. Look at Brandon Cooks last week. Look at Marquise Brown 2 weeks ago going for like 40 points. I mean, they cannot defend deep. And Brandon Ayuk profiles very similarly to Cooks and Marquise Brown, the exact type of receiver that Indy is struggling with. And they had their number 1 corner for those games. Xavier Rhodes is out, not Xavier Rhodes. I forget who it is. Their number 1 corner is knocked out this week. That's all I know. And Brandon Ayuk, yes, he's been trouble all year. But Jimmy Garoppolo being back, yes, I know fantasy purposes for quarterback, not as exciting as Trey Lance. But for the wide receivers, that certainly is a nice boost. Debo is my number 5 receiver. I love him, but Brandon Ayuk would not be shocked at all to see him start turning around his season as early as this week. Fresh off the bye. Let's get this guy involved.
All right, lower. Makes me sad to see that T. Higgins is on this list, but I do get it. You got him as your wide receiver 25, 3 below the experts. Really not a huge discrepancy. You've also got Allen Robinson, wide receiver 37, 11 spots below the experts. Rondell Moore going against Houston. You got him at 41, 6 below the experts. Let me just make a beeline for Allen Robinson real quick.
Please.
First of all, 2 things. First of all, I don't know how the experts can have this guy wide receiver 26. Second of all, you need to ease up on Allen Robinson. Like we get it. He's terrible. He's not terrible, but for fantasy purposes, there's no point. This is getting to the point where it's like the experts are going to continually rank this guy in a ridiculous spot. What'd you say his highest thing of the year was? Like wide receiver 45 or something one week? Something like that. Like
he hasn't cracked the top 40.
I mean, I think you're too high on him for God's sakes. Like he's not going to be the third. I mean, well, I don't know. Maybe because all these guys are out on bye. Maybe he'll be 37. This poor guy.
He's awful. T. Higgins, though. Let's start with him. The Ravens are very, very good against outside receiver. Marlon Humphrey on the outside. Their DVOA against outside receivers, top 3 in the game. Their DVO against the slot, one of the worst in the game. So it's one of those matches where Higgins is always out wide. He's actually been the wide receiver 30, 29, 44, and 57. He's been a touchdown or bust type of option. And if you think he's going to score this week, great, go for it. But they're one of the better defenses in terms of allowing touchdowns to outside receivers. I don't think T. Higgins is going to have that day that we expect. As we mentioned, Allen Robinson, just to reiterate, wide receiver 67, 45, 78, 51, 66, and 46. 45.
So how are you coming up with wide receiver 37 there?
I don't understand.
Let's not even talk about the experts. Let's just talk about your
26. They're wide receiver 26.
No, that's crazy. But honestly, based on what you just said, 37's kind of crazy.
Maybe
it's 8 spots higher than he's ever been.
And it's one of those things, okay, every single week, guys, like, and I'm sure he's in the comments, and I love it if he is, Mike Clay over on Facebook. Love you, brother. Every week he's like, well, this is the week where they're going to be down and they're going to have to throw, and it's the right narrative, right? And yes, that's true. They're down against Tampa Bay. They're going to have to throw against Tampa Bay, and it doesn't matter because he's had the right narrative for multiple weeks. He's had the
narrative only takes you so far. If I were all of a sudden getting a shot in the NFL this week, the narrative would be amazing. They just be like,
exactly.
This old guy who's never really played football, he's completely out of shape. He's going to come in.
Story.
What a hero story. And the truth of the story would be Nat the Truth Jones was killed on his first drop back of the game when Aaron Donald came in and throttled him. And so the narrative did not exactly – it'll only take you so far, folks.
Right. Exactly. And even you look at last week, he was streaking wide open on the field. He should have had a 70-yard touchdown. But guess what? He didn't because Fields missed him. Fields is not looking for him. Fields doesn't have the reads down yet. Don't get Allen Robinson in your lineups. It's just as good as the narrative is, and I understand the narrative, I'm not playing him. In fact, I'm probably cutting him where I have to at this point. And the last one, Rondale Moore, I've got a lot of starts about him, so I just want to toss him out there. Yes, it's Houston. They're pathetic. I get it. But Rondale Moore has never played more than 55% of the snaps. He's in and out. It's just so inconsistent in terms of usage. And against Houston, who's surprisingly the fifth hardest matchup for receivers, not because they're good, but because they're actually so bad that you don't need to throw against them.
You don't have to throw.
You don't have to use your Rondale Moores. You don't have to go into 5 receiver sets where Rondale Moore actually plays. He's been the wide receiver 105, 68, 26. He had 12 points against San Fran, and then 69. It is 2 good weeks amidst a shitstorm of awful games. And yeah, Houston seems like it should be a good game, but they're sneakily actually tough against receivers because of how bad they actually are, which doesn't make sense, but it kind of makes sense if you know what I mean.
I hear you. And there's a lot of choices in Arizona too to throw the ball to if you choose to throw, which seems like you don't have to. Hail Mary, Donovan Peoples-Jones tonight, 15% rostered.
No longer.
Right. But I was going to say, like, we're going to scratch that. Alan Lazard, 3% rostered. And also he's going against Washington, and Kendrick Bourne, 4% rostered going against the Jets. Anybody going against the Jets, probably worth a crapshoot, right?
Yeah, and shockingly, the Jets are actually the second hardest matchup for receivers. I don't know how or why they have nobody on the secondary I could name right now. Literally no one. I actually have no idea who's in their secondary. They're terrible. But somehow they're limiting teams. Maybe it's the Houston narrative where they're so bad against the run and they're just bad that you don't need to throw against them. Let's start with Lazard. He had a touchdown last week, first week without MVS. And now you get Washington, who is giving up the most yards per reception other than Tennessee, the second most points to wide receivers. I think Lazard has a nice deep touchdown against Washington this week. And as a Hail Mary in this bye week hell, all you really want is one long touchdown. So I don't hate him at all as a streamer. Was the wide receiver 30 last week. I think he could get into that range this next week. Kendrick Bourne has actually been sneaky, pretty damn good these last few weeks. I shouldn't say last few weeks. He had 19 3 weeks ago. He had 14 last week. It's all big play or bust. But against the Jets, I could see this guy shaking free for a big play. So Kendrick Bourne, Lazard, if you need a Hail Mary, big play, these are the guys you're looking at.
All right. Must watch now or never for an A.J. Brown breakout week. Also, can Jalen Waddle keep rolling? And then we're going to roll through tight ends real fast so we can hit this growing mailbag.
Absolutely. A.J. Brown, all you guys holding on to him at this point, if he doesn't get it against Kansas City done, this kind of feels like the Jags all over again. No Julio against the Jaguars, and he didn't get it done. But against Kansas City, where they're actually going to need points, they didn't need him against the Jags because Henry was just doing his thing. You're going to need points against Kansas City. If he is not a factor in this game, then when is he ever going to be a factor? So this is it. It's now or never. If you hadn't traded him already, you have him on your roster. You're either getting a game out of A.J. Brown or you're just fucked the rest of the year. Essentially, that's what it comes down to. And then Jalen Waddle, he's had, out of his 4 games, 2 of them, he's had 14 or more. I mean, it's crazy, the target share he's seeing. Let's see if he can finally get deep, keep it rolling against Atlanta. I'm very excited to see, can this guy really be a top 20 receiver moving forward? That's where I have him in my rankings. I'd love to have him in my lineups this week. And I'm excited to see, does this guy keep it rolling?
All right, let's fly through tight ends. Noah Fant, you got higher going against Cleveland tonight. Tight end 5, 3 spots above the experts. You also like Zach Ertz, which will be nice for the podcast listeners. Going against Houston, tight end 9, 3 above the experts. I don't like Ertz anywhere near as much as you. We don't have to get into it, though, because we don't have a ton of time. So make your pitch.
Yeah, well, the first game without Albert O, the alphabet, we saw Noah Fant go for 20 fantasy points. The tight end won last week, 11 fucking targets, 9 catches, 97 yards, and a score. The guy is just going to get insane volume without the other tight end, Alberto, out there. And against Cleveland, middle of the pack against the tight end position. I don't think it matters against defensive rating. I think Noah Fant is just so athletic, and he's starting to really come into his own. Big fan of him tonight. You obviously know you're playing him, but I did get so many sit starts about him already in my DMs. Shocked. You got to have this guy in your lineup. My number 5 tight end, 3 spots above the ECR, but I mean, the tight end won last week. I think he's going to be right up there. And then Zach Ertz, he looks a little less dusty than he looked last year. He seems to be moving around better, and now he goes to the obviously explosive offense of the Cardinals, which, there's too many mouths to feed, right? Well, they peppered Max Williams with 16 targets across 3 weeks before he got hurt. Now he gets Houston, the most generous team to tight ends. They've given up a touchdown every single week but one. I think Zach Ertz, they're going to try to – this is the type of game where, like, it's almost like practice, right, where you just pepper this guy, try to get him established, get that rapport going, because you have nothing else. I mean, this is literally like a practice against your scout team against Houston right here. The most generous team. It reminds me of AB when he came to the Pats a couple of years ago and they were playing Miami and he had like 2 touchdowns in the first couple drives. Like, they're just going to want to get this guy established and get him going. I really think Zach Ertz has a field day against Houston and has at least a touchdown in 50 to 60 yards.
TJ Hawkinson's a guy you're lower on again, going against the Rams. Tight end 7, 2 spots below the experts. Not a huge discrepancy. No,
and it's not like I'm like sitting here, I hate you bench TJ. You probably play him if you have him. And last week I was lower. He had 11 points. He was the tight end 7. That's actually exactly where I had him ranked, so I ended up being spot on. The Rams, just a good defense. I think they're really going to have the ears pinned back to go after Goff this week. And I'm worried about Hawkinson. Again, yes, last week he was the tight end 7. Before that, tight end 35, 20, and 35. He seemed healthy. He was moving around better. I like that. I just think it's a tough matchup on a team that I don't really want to ever go against the Rams.
Hail Mary, CJ Uzomah, 15% owned going at Baltimore. We both talked about OJ Howard in Gronk's absence playing against Chicago. Only 3% owned. That one really speaks to me.
Absolutely. Uzomah himself caught a touchdown last week. 3 weeks ago, had 2 touchdowns and 24 fantasy points, was the tight end 1 in fantasy. So it's not like this guy is without upside. He was literally a league winner. Nobody had him in their lineups that week. Let's be real. But still, Baltimore's giving up the 3rd most points to tight ends. They're good against outside receivers. I could see Uzomah slipping his way into the end zone. I really like him, but I also love OJ Howard, who did practice today, as we talked about. He's coming off a 6-catch, 49-yard day and a touchdown. Was the tight end 4 last week with 14 fantasy points. And now he gets Chicago. They're kind of middle of the pack against tight ends with no Gronk. This is obviously assuming Gronk sits. If Gronk somehow plays, then of course you can't touch OJ Howard. But as long as Gronk sits, we know how much Tom Brady loves tight ends. Brady had every single opportunity to establish himself as the guy. Never did. They give OJ Howard that chance last week, and look what he did. A monstrous day. He was running all after the catch. This guy looked like a dynamite player. I think he is so talented. He always has been. He finally looked fully healthy. Only 3% rostered blows my mind. This guy is, if Gronk misses time, I think could be a top 7 tight end every single week moving forward. So I love this guy.
Must watch Zach Ertz fit in Arizona. We just kind of talked about that, but also interested to see if Kyle Pitts can encore.
Yeah, that last game, I mean, it was without Calvin Ridley. So that's kind of the rub here. But 119 yards, 1 score, 22 fantasy points. The last time we saw Kyle Pitts, does he build upon that and continue to ascend into the promised one, the best rookie tight end we've ever seen? Or does he take a step back now that Calvin Ridley's back on the field? Must watch TV for me. My tight end 4 either way. Facing Miami, I think these guys are going to have a field day, and I think my answer is he does continue to ascend. Either way, I'll be watching that very closely.
All right, we got like 22, 23 minutes left. Let's hit the mailbag.
Oh, fuck yeah. BK, Wolf, great to see you, brother.
Bulldog 0921. People dropped David Montgomery and Kareem Hunt with this brutal bye week. Wow. Is it worth dropping Javonte Williams for one of those guys?
Yes.
Man, I think so, definitely.
Montgomery first. He's going to be back in a week or two and was running back 12 before he went down. So, yeah, absolutely. Go after Montgomery.
Hunt wasn't much.
Williams.
I don't think Hunt was much lower than that.
No,
12.
Hunt was
I think
the running
he might
back
have been
5.
higher than that. I think he was like 6 or something.
He was the running back 5 before getting hurt, but he's on the IR for at least 3 more weeks, whereas we know Montgomery's going to be back in a week or two. I go for Montgomery. I absolutely drop him. I love Javonte. I really do. One of my favorite talents in the league, but until he can shackle away from him, then yeah, absolutely.
You can pick up a top 10 running back and you have to wait 3 weeks for it. I mean, obviously it depends on your win-loss record, your situation, your roster, but man, like you should try to make that happen.
I want both of those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Javonte definitely cut. Who else can you cut to get them all?
Right.
And again, guys, as we get to this mailbag, if you don't mind hitting us that thumbs up button to get us out to more people, would be so greatly appreciated. So thanks again for being here. We'll get to all these questions. We're going to fly through them, baby, for you.
All right, our first question concerning tonight, Anthony Fella says, Williams tonight or Goddard, full PPR?
So we don't know if Goddard's playing yet. He's off the COVID list. It's a great matchup if he is playing, but we don't know that yet. So you might have to go Javonte Williams because we just don't know who the option, Fella, if Goddard doesn't play. As of right now, I think you put in Williams, but I want to know who your option is if Goddard doesn't play.
Our boy Denny Jennings, half-point PPR. Haskin, Michael Carter, Landry. Yeah, I need one. I already have Patrick tonight. Thanks.
Who's Haskin?
Gaskin. It must be Gaskin.
It must be Gaskin. That's bad. I would probably, though, go Gaskin against Atlanta and just hope this is one of the weeks where he gets peppered. We'll find out. I don't love either of them.
I don't love those choices, Denny.
You said he already has Patrick. I would play Patrick over all of them, but you already are. So I would go Gaskin myself.
Baby Jesus. Good to hear from him. Renfro or Jacoby or Gaskin, full PPR.
I lean full PPR. I think I'm going Renfro, just very safe, very sturdy. Gaskin still, I really like it, but I think I'm going to go Renfro.
B.A. Billy, Collins or Landry?
I'm going to go Collins.
Do you think Collins is playing? If you think Collins is playing, you're going Collins. And
Yeah.
B.A. Billy, by the way, still hates you for CEH over Henry.
Oh, last year, that was bad. That was one of my worst calls of all time. B.A. Billy,
You're going to hold a grudge. That's not a bad thing to hold a grudge over.
You should hate me for eternity for that one.
ASN Titan starting the flex. Jarvis Landry or OBJ? Interesting.
If I have to go one or the other, I'm going OBJ. I see you've asked that question a few times, so I'm going to put you in timeout. Thank you for asking. I'm going to go Landry, but don't ask your question a million times, please.
Kane Z, start DJP and Felton? Question mark. I think
Donovan Jones, people, not anymore. With OBJ out or OBJ playing rather, you can't have him in. And Felton, maybe it depends on your other options.
I mean, yeah. What else you got?
Landry is playing, but I don't think Donovan People-Jones is worth a start with all these receivers in.
Francisco says he has Elliott, Najee, Herbert, and Thielen all on bye this week. Total horror show. Refuse to pick up any mutants to fill those spots. I wouldn't win anyway. I'm just taking the L. LOL.
Honestly, I don't even hate your approach, Francisco. A lot of people I've seen, like week 7, such a loaded bye week, you kind of just have to fucking deal with it and take the L in at some points. And guys, by the way, if we should get to every one of your questions, we're going to do our best. I just want to pump out, if you throw a super chat in there, even if I think it has to be over $1 to get like pumped up to the radar. But if you throw in a super chat, it'll pop right up to the top. We'll guarantee a good in-depth answer for any super chat. Not necessary, but it means we're going to try to hit every single one regardless.
Yeah, we'll try to get you all.
It supports the show. It obviously helps us out. So if you want to support the show and you want a guaranteed answer, we're going to get to everything we can, and we should get to them all. But just in case, if you have a very desperate situation tonight and you want to make sure you get an answer, toss in a super chat because we will promise we'll get to those ones, no doubt.
Kane Z says he might just take an L this week and keep my players. Yeah. We've said Mitch before calling me CJ, and Denny said, Mitch, you're drunk.
You are drunk.
Then Mitch said, LOL, my bad truth. It's been a long week. It's all right, Mitch. No hard feelings.
I'm glad you're here with us, Mitch. I love you.
Right. Noah Pringle, not a Thursday night football question, but I got to start Damian Harris over Gibson, right? It hurts to even
Yes, you do. Yeah, we don't need all the preface there. You start him, Noah Pringle, absolutely, because he's facing the Jets, the second easiest matchup. He's going to score, no doubt.
Diamond Dave I could make a case for starting Keenan. Do you mean Keenan Allen or Case Keenum?
I don't know what I think he's making a joke. I have no idea what's happening.
Oh, God. Sorry, over my head, bud, but now I get it. Daniel Howland. Wolf, I'm with you on the Browns defense. Let's go, Brownies.
Fuck yeah, let's go, baby. 16 points from that defense. We got a super chat. We got Ramondre for Slim 74. I don't know if it jumps us up there, but it tells us right at the top. Ramondre, Freeman, Bell. Who you starting? I'm going Ramondre, Slim. Not the easiest of choices here, but I like Ramondre with that 14% target share. Freeman or Bell, toss up. We don't know if Murray's playing or not yet. Doesn't matter, I guess, for tonight. So, Slim, I know you'll be here on Sunday. Come back on Sunday, and we can weigh in once we know if Murray's playing or not. But even then, I think I'm going to go Ramondre with that high target share, that high touchdown probability. Thank you so much, by the way, for supporting the show. It is greatly appreciated.
Jose Vega, Dearness Johnson, or Eli Mitchell, half-point PPR.
I'm going to go Dearness Johnson. As you guys know, much higher on him. My low of the week was Eli Mitchell. He hasn't done much other than against Detroit, the number 1 matchup for running backs. Against one of the hardest linebacking cores, I'm going to go Dearness for sure.
Cheers, guys. Half-point PPR. Hardman, Renfro, Myers, or Alex Collins?
Ooh, Powder, good to see you. Thanks for coming back to the show. I go Alex Collins here. Other than if it seems like he's going to be limited or if Penny's going to be a real big factor, I sneaky love Hardman this week against Tennessee, giving up the most points to wide receivers. I really like that. It's not Renfro or Myers for me, especially in half. It's Collins at the top, but man, Hardman's very intriguing if we learn that if Collins is going to be limited or anything of that nature.
I'm going Collins too, but I really am skeptical for some reason about him playing this week. We'll see what happens.
New Orleans is a very good run D. It's a tough matchup.
He was great in that second half.
He was great against a
game,
very hard.
Ran all over them.
Yeah.
John, who's a deep league separation wide receiver play? I had Peoples-Jones in there as a Hail Mary. Bad pun. Looking for another desperation play in that Cobb, Rager, Van Jefferson range. Who's your Hail Mary on wide receiver this week?
I actually do like Van Jefferson and the guys that you mentioned there. But as we mentioned, I do like Lazard. And who was the other one I had at a Hail Mary tonight?
Well, we had Peoples-Jones, but you axed him. Oh, it was the guy against the Jets.
Yes, and Kendrick Bourne as well.
Yeah.
BK, thanks for the reminder, guys.
Yeah, man. Like and subscribe.
Like and sub, baby. You like what we're doing and you want to get your question in early. Hit that bell so you get your first questions in. We always go in order. So if you're here early, hit that bell. You'll know when we're live and we'll always get to you first.
All right. It is 8 o'clock. We're still rolling. DJ Johnson says half point PPR, Tim Patrick or Ruggs.
I like Timmy Patrick. He has been so damn steady. I know, DJ, you asked us a couple of weeks ago, maybe even last week when Ruggs went off. I get it. But that's how it's going to always be with Ruggs. You'll have 3 duds and then 1 blow up. Give me the 12 steady points of Tim Patrick every single time.
Eber Rodriguez, Donovan Peoples-Jones or Higgins? I'm assuming the answer to that is Higgins right now, even though you're a little down on him.
A little down on Higgins, but with OBJ back, I can't trust Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Tony Kamaj, do I start Landry, Callaway, AJ Green, or Khalil in flex? Half point PPR.
Oh, you know I love Callaway this week.
I kind of like Callaway here.
Week, Tony. I'm going Callaway in a blow-up spot.
And then he wants to know, is Khalil droppable at this point?
It could be because David Montgomery should be back within a week. So, yeah, probably droppable ahead of time. Yeah.
Fraser McDonald starting Dearness Johnson, Javonte Williams, and Broncos D tonight. Oh, man, that's 3 guys going tonight. I love it. Hoping for a big Thursday night football. This bye week fucking sucks. Here we go. 7-0. Man, if you're 6-0 and you got to start 3 of those guys tonight, you feel pretty good about yourself.
You're probably 6-0 because you have a lot of players on those 4 great offenses that are on bye. So it makes sense that this bye week hell has hit you hard, Fraser, and love you from Scotland, baby. Yeah. But ultimately, I don't have high hopes for really any of these guys other than maybe.
Well, you like Dearness Johnson.
Could have himself a good night. I think the Broncos D against Case Keenum could have themselves a good night as well. If this is Javante's coming out party, then damn, you're lucky. Let me know again, folks, in the comments. Javonte versus Alex Collins. Am I putting Javonte in tonight? We'll find out. Let me know what you guys think.
And Fraser, let us know if you end up going 7-0. We'd like to know.
Yeah, please do.
Bo Pucks. Hey, should I trade Hawk and Tim Patrick to acquire Waller?
Yeah, I would do that deal in a heartbeat because Judy's back. Tim Patrick won't be anything, and Hawk's not that great. Waller hasn't done a ton, but one of the best buy lows in fantasy, Bo Pucks. I absolutely do that.
Agreed.
And guys, we got 50 of you here. Come on, get those like numbers up. Continue to boost the stats for us. Get us out to more people. Come on, baby. Let's go.
Liking us costs you nothing. Jeff Lee, half point PPR. Dearness Johnson going against Denver Knight or Ramondre Stevenson going against the Jets. I'm assuming Johnson all the way, right?
Yeah, I'm going Johnson all the way there, Jeff Lee. Better bet for the volume. It's not the best of matchups, but I feel good about him tonight. I really do.
Denny Jennings, I have Judy on my R. When he comes back, should I drop Patrick?
Probably, but it really depends because I think Patrick could still have a decent role. He clearly has the trust of his QB. He might be steady even with Judy back, but the volume is going to take a pretty big hit. So as long as there's good volume options on the waiver wires, he's probably droppable.
David Glass says it's ugly out there due to buys and injuries. Standard scoring, come on. Need 1 running back and 2 flex. Stevenson, Herbert, that's Khalil Herbert, Jamal Williams, Alex Collins, AJ Green.
I think Collins is your best bet out of all these.
Yep.
I think Stevenson and Herbert, Herbert depends on Damian Williams. So come back on Sunday, my man, David Glass, and we can give you a better answer. But I go Collins and then I go Stevenson and then probably Herbert. But if Williams is back, Damian Williams, then I would probably go AJ Green and just hope for a touchdown at that point. We got another super chat from Slim, my fucking guy.
All right, Slim, what's up?
Sources close to Broncos saying Gordon is the RB1 there. No split is coming. Thank you, Slim, for sharing that with us. Just another good you paid money to help me with my decision.
I mean, seriously, dude.
Man, Slim. I have Javonte on the bench. He's staying firmly on the bench at this point. Really appreciate you, Slim.
That was super nice.
The show twice tonight and to give me information. You're a fucking legend, Slim.
Seriously, thanks so much.
Always being our good gracious. I will help you out for free anytime. You're the fucking legend. Love
Josh Sinkovich, Gaskin or D'Ernest?
D'Ernest for me, baby. A Gaskin,
Right.
how can you trust him?
All
One
right,
week he has 31 against the hardest run D in the league. The next fucking week he is nothing. But behind Malcolm Brown. I don't know. I don't want anything to do with that backfield.
It's 8:05. Let's roll. Mike Clay. Hey, Mike, what's up? Felton or Freeman with Latavius Murray not practicing again today?
I would probably go Felton. I don't really trust Freeman at all, especially in PPR leagues where you can catch the ball. Freeman's a better bet for a touchdown, but I would just roll the dice tonight and see if he catches some balls.
Marcos Valdez, half-point PPR, sit one. Cortland Sutton, Cordero Patterson, definitely don't sit him, or Darrell Williams.
Oh, man, I'd probably sit the running back Darrell Williams at this point. I love Sutton against the 5th most points to wide receivers. The Browns here are 3rd or 4th. They're right up there in terms of most points. I'm not sitting Sutton with those air yards. I'm going to probably sit Darrell Williams. I love all these
That's
options.
tough.
Marcus.
I actually like them all a lot.
I like them all. I'm probably sitting Darrell.
Martine Broadhurst. I need to fill my flex. Full PPR. Should I pick up Renfro, Kirk, or Callaway? I don't want to be stuck playing Ayuk. Thank you.
I like Callaway. You guys know this at this point. I love Callaway this week. I think he's going to light it up.
Well, Cortland Sutton or Robert Woods?
Cortland Sutton for me, baby, all day.
Tacky T. I'm 6-0. I need an RB2. Do I trade AB for David Montgomery?
No, well, if you really need the running back, I guess. But we don't know yet when Montgomery's actually going to be back. The speculation is as early as next week or the week after, but that's no lockout. And you have these breakouts, but none of them are guaranteed, Taki.
Right.
In a vacuum, I prefer AB to DMont. If you're that desperate, then sure, but I don't think so.
I agree with that take. Jeff Lee, you guys are spot on. I watch a ton of YouTube fantasy football. You guys are the best. You will have a ton more of views and likes coming up for sure. Thank you for the knowledge and no fluff approaches. Thanks, Jeff. That means
Jeff, so that's awesome. Thank you so much for the praise. We were happy to have you here, brother. Thank you so much.
CJ, who was, or was it me? I don't know. We get mistaken for each other a lot. How? Yeah,
there we go, baby.
Charlie Manolakis, I need 2. Javonte McKissick, Higgins, or Callaway?
I'm going McKissick. And I'm going to go Callaway. Callaway Higgins is right on the fence for me.
Right.
But the key of this is you're not playing Javonte.
You got to go with Callaway. You've been blowing smoke up his ass all episode. Charlie wants to know Bridgewater, Heineke, or Jimmy G?
I'm going to go, oh, God, Heineke. Maybe Jimmy G.
Mike Defek, pick 2 of 3. Hubbard, D'Ernest, Eli Mitchell.
I'm going to go Hubbard's my by far favorite, and then I'm going to go D'Ernest over Mitchell tonight. Let's go Hubbard and Ernest. DJ
Johnson. We just got let's skip it. We just got a big donation, so take that one first.
Oh, fuck yeah. Ryan Evans, holy shit, 50. You're the fucking man. $50 super chat. What a legend. Holy shit. That's so generous. Thank you so much.
Give him a good answer.
Jarvis Landry or T. Higgins at flex. God, I better get this one right. I don't know how you can trust. Like, I have a pretty good gut feeling, Ryan, about Landry. And if you do too, you could roll him. As we said, Higgins is my lower of the week. But I guess both of these come down to touchdown or bust, in my opinion. I really don't think Landry's going to have like a 10 catch. He's probably not going to be on those full complement of snaps, in my opinion. I'd probably go T. Higgins. I have Higgins at like 26, and then I have Landry right around like 36. Down to the gut, like I really don't think Landry has a bad night tonight, but this is a really tough one. I think I go Higgins here. What do you think, Truth?
I also would lean Higgins. I just have a little bit of a hard time trusting Landry coming back, backup quarterback. Although we did say we like Keenum maybe just as much as Mayfield, but I would lean Higgins.
Dude, and what again, Ryan?
I hope we're right, dude.
I really hope we're right. Like, I will refund you at least half of this if we're dead wrong. Like, but you're the man for supporting the show the way you did. But give me Higgins. Like, yes, I know I'm a little down on him. He's touchdown or bust, but guess what? He also leads the Bengals in red zone looks, all those types of touches. And they're going to have Humphrey on Jamar Chase, no doubt about it. Like, Higgins go pretty nuts against their number 2. I'm a little bit lower on Higgins than the ECR, but compared to Landry on his first game back, I'm going to go Higgins here. I go Higgins. You said you agree?
I do agree.
All righty, Ryan. Thanks again so much. My God, what a supporting
seriously, that's so nice. DJ Johnson, half-point PPR, Higbee or OJ Howard? Let's roll.
I'm going to go Higbee for now, but if Gronk's out, then we can probably consider OJ, but I go Higbee.
Kenny says Goddard is a DNP, but he is cleared to play.
Good play if he is in.
Kevin Crom, D'Ernest Johnson or Damian Harris?
I love Damian Harris there. I do. Against the Jets, easiest matchup. Let's go.
Zafrika, Lockett, Kirk, T.Y. Hilton if healthy, or Latavius Murray for my flex. Also, Burrow or Carr for my streaming QB this week.
You're looking at 4 boomer bust guys, right? Give me Lockett, the best talent of them all. Even with Geno Smith, yes, it caps the ceiling, but I don't feel great about the others enough to bench lock it.
All right, Todd Exotic. I love seeing the Wolf super hammered. Pretty sure that's when he did his best.
I'm not on that level tonight.
No, he's not. We've seen him way more hammered than this.
But yeah, that is when I'm at my best.
He's just loose tonight. Graham Harned or Harned. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. Hawkinson or Fant PPR. We actually just talked about that.
I'm going Noah Fant tonight. I have him higher than Hawk. I know that's against the ECR, but I'm in there.
DJ Johnson, Darnold, Tua, Wentz, Jimmy G, or Jameis.
Ooh, I go Darnold against that. No, I go Tua.
No,
Never mind.
Tua.
I forgot. I didn't see Tua there. My number 1 QB of this group for sure. Number 8 in my rankings this week. I love Tua against Miami, DJ.
Russell wants to know Fant or Goddard, full PPR.
Give me Fant all day, Russell. No doubt about it.
Brett wants to know Dearness Johnson or JD McKissick, full PPR.
Full PPR makes that tighter. No doubt about it because JD is a much bigger monster in full PPR. That being said, I think I'm just going to roll Dearness tonight and hope for 20 carries, hope for 100 and a TD. Certainly within his realm of possibilities. I'm going for it tonight.
And Slim, actually, we're getting to one of his questions without cash. We love you, buddy. Slim says, is Ty Williams going to be a good second half? Going to have a good second half? I picked him up for free.
I think that backfield's going to be a nightmare all year.
I do too.
That being said, I'm trying to pick him up for sure, but I'm into it. Yeah. I think I don't think a second half is a guarantee though. I think that backfield is a nightmare.
BK says Packer hate is strong with the Wolf.
Always. And I don't even know what I hated on him about this week, but yeah, I do always hit the pack just for you, BK.
He's answering a question someone else asked.
Okay, gotcha.
Dearness Johnson start over Mixon? No.
Oh God,
I would definitely go Mixon, but
no, you got to go Mixon. He's like a top 8 running back every single week.
Tyler Lowe, Odell, Tim Patrick, or Mooney for my receiver? Please answer. Okay, we're gonna.
Oh, we got you, Tyler. I'm gonna go Tim Patrick. Mooney's in a great spot against Tampa Bay, but I'm going to go Tim Patrick.
Go Patrick.
Very safe and steady, especially if it's full PPR.
Bronco plays start 3 non-PPR. Allen Robinson, Jacoby Myers, Corey Davis, OBJ. So you're benching one. Who you benching?
I'm probably benching OBJ here. I don't love any of the 3. Let's be real, but I don't trust OBJ banged up. Case Keenum at QB. No thanks.
He was answering the question before, so go to the next one.
Yeah.
K5 half point PPR start 2. McKissick, Dearnest, James Conner. Keep in mind, Connor's going to burn the Wolf, so you probably got to start Connor.
I'm happy. I'm going to go Dearness and James Conner. James Conner's going to smash me. Don't worry.
Anthony wants to know Carr or Bridgewater.
I'm going to go Derek Carr. Coming off 340 against a pretty burnable Philly secondary. Give me Derek Carr.
Johnny Lau, Shepard or Callaway this week going forward, half point PPR.
Shepard this week and going forward. I mean, leads the team in targets every game he's made it through. And I love Callaway.
Oscar wants to know Landry or Mooney.
Mooney for sure. I like Landry coming off the IR, but let's see it before we use him. Mooney against Tampa Bay, 4th most points to receivers. Let's
Juan says these injuries are killing me. Should I keep Knox? I do have Seals, Jones, and Kittles on my IR. I mean, if you can keep Knox, you should. He's awesome.
You should keep Knox. Absolutely. The tight end 3 in fantasy right now. Most tight ends touchdowns among the position. Yeah, you keep him.
Joseph wants to know Landry or Corey Davis in a PPR.
Now we're getting pretty tight and close. I go Corey Davis just because it's fully guaranteed he's going to get a full complement of snaps, but that's close. I don't love either.
Juan wants to know who's in my flex, Mike Davis or Carter. Everybody else is on a bye, LOL.
I'm going to go Mike Davis and think he finds the end zone this week.
Albert, I'm assuming that's Dearness Johnson playing against the Broncos?
I don't mind him. I don't know what the comment of who he's against, but yeah, I like him. We talked about him a bit tonight.
Joseph Lilio, I was set on Robinson, apparently not. So now I need 2 out of Landry, Davis, and Robinson.
I like Robinson within that group, right? I go Robinson and Davis, and let's see what Landry does. We have to trust him right now.
Francisco says Allen Robinson ranked 26. The Truth ranked 25. That's how high I rank the Truth. I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but I appreciate it. I think it's a compliment.
It is because you talked about getting strapped out there. Oh yeah, and guys, again, thumbs up helps us get out to more people. Keep giving us that love. We really appreciate it.
Todd Exotic, Felton or Landry, half point PPR.
If it comes down to that, it's a complete Hail Marys. Give me the proven product. That's Landry.
Juan says, is Kadarius Toney worth keeping after that ankle injury?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, before he went down, 3 catches on 5 pass attempts. The guy is the target hog when he's healthy.
Diamond Dave, the Wolf is laughing and drinking, talking to Dearness Johnson, then a mention of Eli Mitchell, and he goes cold. Funny stuff.
Give me Dearness all day over Eli, all day.
John P., Edmonds or Collins?
I'm going Collins there. I'm not into Edmonds this week.
Guys, anybody, Corey Davis or Landry before the game starts? All right, we're just under the wire.
I'm going Corey Davis. I am.
All right, he has the same choice. Go ahead. Juan says, you think Henry Ruggs does well against an Eagles defense?
He sure could, but he's so boomer bust. I guess no. Every 4 weeks he does good, so I'm going to say this is one of his off weeks.
Adrian wants to know Gaskin or Njoku.
I go to Joe. I mean, I'm going to go Gaskin there against Atlanta. Like easy matchup. Let's roll the dice on him there.
Start 2, half-point PPR, McKissick, Dearness Johnson, James Conner. I think we already did that one, actually.
Yeah, we're gonna go James Conner and Dearness.
All right, William, we just got a fast cash, so go to that real quick.
I will go there. We got Brent Butler, pick 2, Landry, Ruggs, Pittman. Pittman's my favorite for sure. And then I'm just going to roll the dice on Ruggs getting deep again, coming off a great game. Landry I like, but it's the first game back. Let's see what he looks like. Broncos is not the easiest of matchups. I'd hate to say bench him and then have him see like 100 and a TD tonight, but I just can't imagine with Case Keenum that's the case. So give me Pittman, give me Ruggs there, Brent Butler, and thanks for supporting the show. We really apprate it.
All right, Williams is a little long.
We're going to skip it.
We come back to it at the end of the mailbag, maybe. Sebastian wants to know Alex Collins or Dearness Johnson.
I'm going to go Dearness Johnson over Collins.
Francisco, is Matty Ryan a decent stream in a 2 QB league?
Yeah, over Teddy B. Yep. Over Teddy B, I'd go Matt Ryan.
Juan says, do I trade Tyler Boyd since Higgins is back? Yeah, if anyone will trade for him, you should. You might just
I hate Tyler Boyd. I absolutely hate Tyler Boyd. I cut him this week. If that helps you out.
Is Logan Thomas?
Brilliant. You're giving us 2 of those long questions. Oh yeah, the question, the big stream is up, but sadly, we can't get there, and I just lost my fucking spot after.
I'm here. All right,
there's
the stream right there.
So yeah, go check out the stream, but we don't have time to go over tonight. Sorry guys. Thanks.
Help! LOL. Pick 1: Odell, AJ Green, Rondell Moore.
I would go. Oh God, I don't like any of these guys, Mano. LOL is true here.
Uh-oh. I'd
probably go for the touchdown of AJ Green. Let's just go there.
I just lost my spot. I'm counting on
Ertz
you.
or Hawkinson? I would go Hawkinson over Ertz, but I have them within a spot of each other, Bulldog.
Mike, Collins listed DMP with a groin today. FYI.
I thought he practiced today. I saw a report that he did.
Yeah, I told you I was skeptical. We'll see if Mike knows what he's talking about.
Sutton is absolutely a must start, no doubt about it. And here
Fellanini, pick 2 full PPR, Devontae Booker, Julio, or Edmonds.
Assuming Julio's in, I go Booker, Julio. I don't like Edmonds this week. If Julio's out, that obviously makes the choice for you.
Anthony, Crowder, Williams, Goddard, PPR week 7's killing me. Thanks, guys.
This is killing you. I don't know who Williams is, so that makes it really hard, but I like Goddard.
Let's say Javonte Williams. I'm assuming he means Javonte Williams.
Yeah, not Javonte then. Goddard, I guess. I don't know. You got to be clear with Williams. It could be Jamal. It could be anybody.
All right. John P. wants to know Landry or ASB.
Who's ASB?
I mean, I'm assuming AJB, maybe?
If it's AJ Brown, it's AJ Brown, no doubt.
Okay. Should I start Gordon today over Renfro or Bateman? PPR.
I go Renfro there. It's pretty damn steady.
Shen Castro, Waddle or Higgins?
I'm going Waddle all day, Shen. I love Waddle this weekend.
Lee wants to know who should I start at my flex? Higgins, Eli Mitchell, or Devontae Smith?
I'm gonna go. Good one. I'm gonna go Devontae Smith. I know he burned us last week, but I'm going right back to the well.
John P. Full PPR, Edmonds or Landry?
Not into Edmonds, but I do like him over Landry this week.
Brent wants to know Ruggs, Pittman, Landry, pick 2, half. I think we just did that.
Yeah,
we actually paid for it, actually.
John Hart. The mod here.
Right. Dearness Johnson or J.D. McKissick?
I'm going Dearness Johnson over McKissick in half.
Denny says don't put Thursday players in flex. He's right.
Great reminder.
I feel like we just did this one. Williams, Collins, Higgins in the flex
Alex
spot.
Collins is my favorite.
He says Denver's about to start. Ryan Evans, Jarvis, or T. Higgins. Ryan made us a very nice donation earlier, so we appreciate that.
I go T. Higgins, and thanks again for that donation. But I'm going to go T. Higgins over Jarvis. Let's see what Jarvis does before we.
Matt says I need a flex start. Please help. Felton or hope for Alex Collins.
I'm going to hope for Alex Collins there, Matt. Yeah. Say hello. Thank you for saying hello.
Hey, bud.
Great to see you.
Thanks for watching. Jonathan says Corey Davis, T. Higgins, or Tim Patrick in the flex.
I'm going to go Tim Patrick, my favorite of those options.
J-Rob, Dearness or Michael Carter?
Dearness for me, baby.
Yo Soy, Tony, 617, PPR flex, OBJ or Javonte?
I'm going to go Javonte, but I don't really love either of them.
He says he's starting Elijah Moore because his team's stacked. Good job, man.
Yeah, good. That's
Sarah Riley.
Hey,
Sarah. Oh, shoot. We're a minute before half point.
Waddle.
Waddle or Waddle?
I'm going to go rapid fire truth. I did this last time. I have to do it. I'm going to go Devonta over Eli. Crowder. No worries. I have no idea if that's even a question. Rashad Bateman or Peoples-Jones. It's got to be Rashad Bateman now that OBJ is active. What's up, those sexy men? Both of us are sexy to free kicks. I love it. I can't evaluate your trade right now. I'm sorry. But thank you for calling us sexy. I appreciate it. Ruggs
thank you. Seriously.
I'm going Callaway. I'm really into Callaway. Shen, I'm putting you in timeout. We answered that one a bunch. OBJ or Felton. I'm going to go Felton there. How do you do the super chat? You go to YouTube, Denny. That's where you got to do it. And I appreciate you wanting to donate. Thank you, Charlie. Ramondre or Javonte? I'm going Javonte in that case. Join late. Penny, no, I can't do a whole spiel on Penny right now. Kirk, AJ Green, Rondale, Bateman. I'm going to go Hardman is where I'm going to go with that one. Should I trade Aaron Jones and DJ Moore for? I can't do a whole trade right now. Noah Fant or Gesicki. Noah Fant, one above Gesicki for me. Johnson, it's good. I don't even know what that means. Gibson, play, roll the dice, or Christian Kirk. I'm going to roll the dice on Gibson if that's the case. Javonte for D. Montgomery. I would, yes, we agree to that. I would drop him there. He was there during walkthrough. He said he's optimistic, but I guess
he's talking about Collins.
Thank you for clarifying. ASB equals a monster.
Oh, shoot. Oh, well. Sorry, dude. Sorry.
Well, I don't even remember who the other options were. DPJ hurt groin during warmups. Oh, shit. I did not cut him from my rankings. I probably should have, but thanks for the heads up. And that is everybody. I think we got to everybody before 8:20. Johnson or Jordan? I go to if I have the option right now, I go Dearness, but I don't think we have that option at this point.
Thomas, sorry for blowing ASB. I completely spaced on that. I even have the guy on my team.
I wouldn't know that. ASB is not clear fucking.
Yeah, you got to earn like the OBJ thing, but anyway.
Right, exactly. ASB, come on.
But Wolf, let's just, because now we've finished the walkthrough and all that stuff. We had a few trades that we couldn't get to because we were in rapid fire mode. What's the best way to get something like that answered? Because I don't want anybody to think we're blowing them off. Like, we do want to answer everyone's questions. Just like when we're pressed for time, if we're going to analyze a trade, it's going to take us at least 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and that's time we don't have at that point. What's the best way to get that done?
Well, one, you can donate a super chat and we'll answer anything that you guys want. You can ask me literally any question about fantasy or not fantasy.
Right, or anything about Wolf's personal life, my personal life.
Exactly. I'll go as deep as you guys want. So that's one way. You can message me on Twitter, but honestly, this is the best way to reach me. The better shows are a little less popular than the Thursday night one is, throughout the week. We have our rest of season big board on Monday. Great time to ask trade questions. The Wednesday ranking show, it's not down to the wire with that coming up to the list. So yeah, trade Devonta Smith for Goddard was that money. I would prefer Devonta, but if you really need a tight end, Goddard could be crazy. And again, guys, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate that, Thomas. Good show. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much. If you liked what you heard, hit that sub button, hit the bell so you're here live with us and we can get your question nice and early. As always, it's so appreciated, though, especially you guys throwing the super chats. And I got to shout out again. Who was it? Ryan Evans. Yeah. Donated $50 to the show. That was insane. You're the man. Thank you so much. I really hope T. Higgins beats the shit out of Jarvis Landry this week. If not, Ryan Evans will be in contact. I'll make sure to get you your money back. But thanks again for the support, guys. You guys mean the world. All these rankings will be up at rotostreetjournal.com. We breed and feed you fantasy wolves. I'm the wolf.
I'm the truth.
Thanks again, guys, for being here. Best of luck in week 7. I'll be live with CJ at 11 a.m. Sunday. So hope to see you there. If we didn't get your question, we got all the questions tonight. But if you have another thing to check in on Sunday, we'll be there for you. Later, guys.
Later.